Gentlemen, what are we up to tonight?
Did Brian accidentally ban
Yeah, I think you might have accidentally banned me, and that's really messed up, right?
Are you running from the cops right now?
You're muted. What's going on, Husker Nation?
Oh my God, bro. I got to act like I've done this before. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another installment of the Husker Gutter Call-In Show. Sorry, my dogs are distracting me per usual. My wife's out of town. These dogs have been driving me crazy. I was telling Brian before the show how I came home. My dog had my trazodone, which is from my sleep. She had chewed through my pill bottle and drug it all over the house, and I came home and I had to deal with that and make sure that my dog was not going to OD on my trazodone. So, she seems to be safe and sound, but she's bugging the crap out of me and chewing my chair. So, Brian, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you? Better than I think you are right now.
Yeah. I'm a little stressed out. My wife comes back at like 4 p.m. tomorrow, so So she needs to come home and help me out here. But no Tuesday show. Apologize for that. We didn't realize, on Friday that our Tuesday show coincided exactly with the Husker basketball game. So we're going to dive into a little bit of the Husker basketball stuff. The Michigan game. We'll get into it. And then we're going to talk about some recruits that we'll be visiting. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with the furthest away news, the basketball game versus Michigan. And what was a game where I feared throughout that we had some missed opportunities. I do understand that, but I feared that it was going to go exactly like it did when we had the lead, and I felt like we were just something about it just felt like we were going to wear down, and I was like, okay, we're not wearing down yet. And right at the very end, missed call, no call, and that kind of ruined the charge. 100% a charge. 100%.
Yeah.
The disparity of free throws was 23 attempts to 4?
Disgusting. 24 to 4. 23 to 4. You're right.
And mind you, we had projected them to cover with did you put on Twitter that they were going to cover prior to
I didn't put anything out personally, but when I heard Rank was out on top of Braden Frager, I thought we were getting smoked.
Frager, I thought we were going to potentially cover the 10, whatever it was, before it went to the 8.5. When Rank was out, I was like, we're toast. We're cooked.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to lose by 15-20. The fact that team battled as much as they did, I thought defensively that we're like scrappy enough and just good enough defensively to like hold it within 15-20. But I'm going to say, like, the fact that our national championship odds and all that went up after that game is pretty telling. But listen, Michigan has I can't stand Michigan fans.
They're so ignorant.
They are the worst, bro. That, first off, that crowd was dead, in my opinion, for a top five matchup,
and it wasn't sold out.
They I felt like half the stadium was empty. That was a terrible, terrible fan base. I can't stand Michigan fans. I'm sorry.
No, the ones that I interacted with on Twitter or saw in other people's mentions were just completely blind to the fact, and maybe it's just using ignorance because they don't want to face the fact that a bunch of unathletic white dudes just walked into your arena and led for 36 minutes, and a 6'4" shooting, 6'4" point guard was playing the 4 and guarding your 7'3" center, and actually did a dang good job doing it. And Cale Jacobson, he won the tip against a 7'3" center. Are you kidding me? That literally set the tone from the tip.
We were ripping their pockets left and right. They could not hold on to that basketball.
No, 19 total turnovers forced by Nebraska defense. Just remarkable.
So that being said, and we can talk about it a little bit more. Another thing too, Nebraska started out hot from the 3-point line, and even when that kind of faded and tapered away, the defense was what kept this in the game, and that's why I feel like this team is built for a good tournament run. Because they can just win in so many different ways. When they're not making shots, they can win on the defensive end. And when you have Frager in there, when you have Rank Bass in there, you're going to be a little bit better when you have Rank Bass in there, you're going to be better on the boards than we were in that Michigan game. With those two in there, it's hard to think that we don't win that game by 5-10 points.
Well, considering we were leading for 36 minutes of that game without them, and quite frankly, I think that charge that they didn't call anything on was the turning point in that game. Nebraska, I think, runs away with it. Now, granted, Michigan probably plays everything differently, and so does Nebraska. But they couldn't stop Kill Jacobson. How do you think they would stop Braden Frager? They couldn't stop Leo Curtis. In the 8 minutes he played, he had 6 points, was 3 of 3 from the field.
Yep.
And he played 3 minutes combined the 3 previous games. But what killed Nebraska this game more than anything is points off turnovers. Yes. Nebraska forced 19 turnovers. They had 11 points off turnovers. That has been a trend regardless of who's been playing the entire year. But it certainly was elevated against Michigan. They could not get to the paint consistently. Now, I know they ended up with 32 points. You have to take that into consideration that a lot of those are just slashing to the rim, getting to the hoop, but they couldn't get to the paint with a back to the basket post like Rank or even Berke, who was like 0 of 3 in the second half from point blank range.
Yep. Mike calling in. First off, let me just dive in this. I'm 17, allowed to call in. Yes, you are.
Yeah,
you are allowed to call in. So we're going to bring on Mike, and then you can go ahead and call in right after this. So Mike, how's it going, man?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
We're doing fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm off work for tonight. I have to go in tomorrow, but hey, I can't complain.
Let's go.
So you guys are talking about the Michigan game, and I'm normally not one to blame the officials, and I'm not going to blame the officials in this one. We had all of our opportunities and everything, but I'm not just talking basketball. I'm talking football, and I'm not just talking Big Ten. I'm talking sports overall. But when are referees, especially in the college game, going to be held accountable? And just use Big Ten as an example. Look at all the bowl games that the Big Ten referees did this year. Most of them are absolutely, there's at least one, if not 2 or 3 atrocious calls in every one of them games. And it seems like, unless you're the Michigans, the Ohio States, Indiana's, stuff like Oregon's, you're getting calls that, are either ticky-tack or that
they're inconsistent.
They're, very, very, very much so inconsistent. Like, why can the Big Ten not have, whether it be a grading system or something for their officials with that, hey, if you don't perform at a good to great level, you're not going to be the officials for, say, Big Ten championship game or tournaments or something to that effect. It baffles me.
There is a national grading scale for officials, and the officials for the Nebraska game individually collectively averaged 84th.
Wow.
Which is terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't, some of the worst, like we look at, I'm just looking at professional sports, like some of the worst Major League Baseball, like umpires are the ones that get the biggest games.
Angel Hernandez.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense, like Scott Foster in the NBA. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but I think it's like where this thing where they value almost experience over the ability to do the job at a high level. It's like, oh, this guy's been a referee for 25 years. We're going to put him in the biggest game, even though he grades out terribly.
Right.
And so I just feel like there's this protection of him. I think I saw a tweet. I can't remember who it was or whatever. It's like, why don't the officials, like, we should make the officials come out and have to speak after games too, or be interviewed after games too, at least
Absolutely.
for a little bit, so we can ask them about some of these controversial calls, whether starting the pro ranks or whatever. But like, I feel like that's because we don't get to hear anything outside of this doctored statement, potential apology when they do mess up. And even then, when they do mess up, 9 times out of 10, we don't even get that statement,
Right. Well, and as a coach, I don't think you can speak on it, or you get fined, don't you?
You get fined. They're so protected. Yes. And it's a joke, because like, why? They're the most protected group in all of sports, and I don't understand why. And you don't really hear about officials getting fired ever. It's just like, it's the one job where you can be really bad at it, outside of being a meteorologist, where you can be wrong, and the one job outside of that where you can do a horrible job and get elevated just because of it, just because you've been there a while.
I'll add too, this year in particular, it's this way every year. It feels like when football, basketball, the officials suck regardless, but it feels like they suck more when they're calling our games. And I watch a lot of sports, and I don't see it across the board when it's Northwestern versus, Indiana, or Northwestern versus, name a bad Big Ten team, Michigan State for football, for example. But I went and did just a little bit of research earlier this week versus the Big Ten powers, not counting Ohio State for basketball, Michigan State, Illinois, and Michigan. Nebraska against Michigan State had 16 fouls and 13 free throw attempts. Michigan State was called for 14 fouls, 15 free throw attempts. Against Illinois, they had 9 fouls. Nebraska had 21. Illinois shot 20 free throws. Nebraska shot 8. Against Michigan, they were called for 11 fouls. Nebraska 19. They shot 23 free throws. Nebraska shot 4. And in the second half, Michigan shot 19 free throws, 10 of which were in the last 5 minutes of the game. When that game was starting to teeter,
it seemed like down the stretch, that's the only points they were getting.
Yeah, exactly.
They did the same thing versus Illinois. They are so protective of their big time programs for basketball or football. And why is it bad to have Nebraska? Why is it not okay for Nebraska to go into Ann Arbor and win? Like, why? I 100% believe this is it. That's what it is. They have to protect their brands. It's too consistent of an issue for me to think otherwise.
Right. Well, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but it almost makes it look as if the officials have money riding on the game, so they have to make it where they win their bets that they placed or whatever. And I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it sure, it makes you, oh, hey, what's going on here?
It definitely makes you. Yeah, let's say it definitely makes you wonder, especially when we've seen it happen time and time again.
Yeah, exactly.
In the NBA, especially.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm going to switch to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying Nebraska should have won that game. Like, if Bearcat hits the 3 bunnies he missed, if Price hits maybe 2 threes instead of 0 in the second half.
Even that one where he went to put it up and it just like laid on the rim and rolled. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then after he missed a couple, he started getting like jumpy underneath the rim. Like, there was a point where he was wide open and he passed it to a smaller guard underneath the hoop instead. And there were certainly things Nebraska could have executed better to win that game.
Yeah.
But it didn't help that you got what we say 23 free throw attempts for Michigan versus 4 for Nebraska. Nebraska didn't have any in the second half.
Yep.
Yeah. And then my last thing is visitors this weekend. Looks like we have some big ones coming in. I am happy to see that Berryman canceled his visit to Florida. That makes us look good. Not saying that Orke's coming here. We don't know until Wednesday, but That's a positive. I wish Maude Hudson would have been able to make it, but southern areas they're not used to getting the weather that they're getting, so I understand.
Not built for that.
Right. All right, gentlemen, that's all I have. My son's wanting to play here, so I better go see what he needs, and I will listen to you guys.
All right, Mike.
All right, later.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for calling, Mike.
All right, now we got Giorgio Benedetti. Make sure I'm pronouncing that right. What's going on, man?
Not much. Hey, how you guys doing?
How's it going?
First of all, before I get to football, congratulations on your guys' 21 seasons so far. Amazing. I'll give you that prop. Congratulations. You should have beat Michigan, but that's the story for another day.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Michigan.
I agree.
Okay, let me get to football now. My first thing is, what was it like having the guy Dylan Mariola, who is like every day copying Mahomes in the best in every way he could possibly do it?
I have a very different opinion on this, I think, than you do. So,
than me?
Yeah,
he wasn't copying them. I mean, I think like he played into it a lot, but like, again, we know why he wore the number 15 for Tebow. The haircut, he had proof that he had since middle school.
He was a kid.
Yeah. And he worked with Jeff Christensen. Both of them had similar QB coach, so they have a lot of similar playing styles. But I think he played into it a little bit with the pregame hype up, that type of stuff.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
My second thing here was, what's it going to be like without having Dylan Mariola next season? Having a new quarterback in there, having to go for a new entire thing of who you're going to get at quarterback, who's going to be that guy.
Brian, I'll let go ahead and speak on Raiola first. What your opinion is on that, and then we'll go into that.
Yeah, I originally didn't care. I thought he kind of played into a little bit, but then I started like noticing the way he walked, and I'm from Kansas City. I watched Mahomes his entire career, so I noticed the little mannerisms that Mahomes had, that Dylan had, and it drove me nuts. The finger wag that Mahomes has always done, Dylan started to do.
But do you feel like part of that is from being around him all the time and like in football drill? Like, I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Could be.
The way he walked, though, Mahomes walks a very
he walks like he's got a stick
He
up his
does walk
butt.
a very similar way.
As long as he got a stick up his butt.
And Dylan did the exact same thing. And then the pregame warm up, I can throw that out to, no different than Kobe and Michael in that situation. Yeah. But the sunglasses was certainly playing into it. But what did it for me was his interview with CBS and the players before the season. And he acted completely shocked that this was a thing. And that was my moment, was he has no self-awareness to understand that this is what's going on. And then
that's true. That is true.
He commits to Oregon, where Mahomes was wearing a Ducks jersey. So that doesn't help the fact of the matter.
Didn't help us.
And then in his commitment photo had a picture of something showing toxic. And I'm like, that is the lack of self-awareness, where he doesn't realize that
I'm surprised he didn't commit to Texas Tech for to be honest.
I don't. Yeah,
they didn't want him.
They have actually. Yeah, probably not. And then to the second question. Yeah, go ahead.
Second question was what is your like what is it like in having a new quarterback in there? I know for like NFL teams, it's a lot easier to move on because you're not having to deal with the NIL. You're not having to deal with all of that. You're having to deal with you already have like a quarterback 2 in the NFL. In college football, you're having to deal with NIL money. You're having to deal with transfer portal. You're having to deal with all of that. So what's it like? What's it like having to have a new quarterback in college football? How it's different from the NFL, where you already have like that quarterback 2, the quarterback 3, and then college football side, the NIL, transfer portal, everything like that. You go ahead, me. I'm trying to not say this in the best way possible.
They just know. I think part of it is just they didn't know that the players especially know what football is. Now it's way more of a business with no guardrails. I mean, there was 5 4,000 Division I players. There's 10,000 total players from NAIA up to Division I in the transfer portal. Of the 4,000 Division I players, there's still almost 2,000 left over in the portal. So I don't think they're shocked by any stretch of that there's a new quarterback in there. In terms of how it affects Nebraska, I think
I'm not like shocked, but what's it like having to do with it? Like, what's it like having a new quarterback in there, having to do with a new system?
I think it's just a new voice. It's a new leader. It's adapting to their cadences. It's adapting to their play style. Going from a pocket passer to a mobile quarterback in Nebraska's case, and understanding how his game fits into what the offensive line skill set is. Receivers is the communication there, especially for Calandria being a big time scramble guy, understanding what to do in scramble drills, which we saw was an issue last year. So there's a lot that goes into it. But that's why they're starting fall camp in 3 weeks to start our fall spring camp.
I think the biggest thing is like, you got to be able to pivot into a good fit. And again, I think Nebraska nailed it in that regard in terms of like what they wanted to do and what they needed. But yeah, kind of like he said, it's a matter of just kind of making sure you catch them up on the language, the schemes and everything, and making sure that you kind of build those relationships. Because Raiola, one of the big things that I will say is he had excellent relationships with the team, because he was really good at that from the second that he committed. He was already building those relationships with the portal guys, with the guys already on the team. So I think that's the biggest thing is Calandria hitting the ground running and building those relationships, learning the schemes. But I think there's a potential that it could be a net positive in terms of maybe he's not a better quarterback, but maybe he's a better fit for what Nebraska wants to do moving forward.
Who do you guys want at quarterback? Like, who you guys want to be your guys' next
Calandria.
quarterback? In your opinion.
Next
season,
Calandria.
Even if Dylan was still here, because he doesn't fit what we do. That's fairly obvious, I think, or what we should be doing.
Thing I was going to ask you guys is, what is it like being in a conference like the Big Ten that has Ohio State, that has Michigan, that has Penn State, has like all these big football schools, and you guys are like that one, like always the runner up, or always the second fiddle to all those big football schools. Like I said, in Ohio State, like I said, in Indiana right now, like I said, with Penn State, all of those schools. Was it like having to be in that running for second place?
It's tough because I feel like most of the time we're not even in the running for second place. We're kind of running for 10th, when we should be up there with those guys. I'm echoing a little bit, Brian. So when we should be up there, or we feel like we have an opportunity to be up there with those guys, like it's tough to understand why Nebraska is the way that they are, with the history that they have, with the money that they have, and they can't even compete with the middling schools, like a Minnesota, for instance. It's really head scratching. It's puzzling at times because, we make the moves and get the coaches we feel like are going to be the right fit. We get players, we go, win the offseason championship every single freaking offseason, except for this one, it seems like. And every season it just feels like something where, and I'm not a believer in curses or whatever, but it's just like, there just seems to be this disconnect of what are we doing different? What are we doing wrong? And those schools it's hard to be compared against those schools because those are schools of Ohio State's the most consistent college football program of all time. Not even close. They are the most consistent, most win, in terms of winning percentage over the last 50, 70 years, it's Ohio State. And it's like, what are we doing that we can't get there? And then you get a school like Indiana who just flashed in the pan. All of a sudden they turned it around. It's like, what the story of
and arguably the second most consistent school is in your division in Penn State.
I could see that. Yeah, probably.
That's what I mean. Really, I feel bad for you guys having to be in that division with Penn State, with Ohio State, with all those consistent schools. I've never seen anybody say you guys will win the Big Ten, but I think you guys have a chance. If you guys can get a good quarterback, get a good system going, I think you guys have a chance. Because you guys had 9 wins. I don't think you guys are that bad, like people say. Everybody always says you guys are that bad. I don't think you guys are that bad. You guys had 9 wins.
I agree. The talent is there. The talent has been there. It's the problem is we can't get those two things to kind of connect. Like the talent equal to wins. And it's like finding out why we can't get those two things. Like during Scott Frost, we had the 3rd or 4th most talented team in terms of recruiting rankings and all that off the bus every single year. And it did not translate to wins. It's like trying to find out why and what that is that's not translating to wins, you know? Brian, what were you going to say? What were we going to say?
I was going to say, think back to when Nebraska joined the Big Ten. We were coming off of we lost to Texas in the Big 12 title game the year prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have won that one. We beat Ohio State. We beat Penn State. We beat Michigan consistently when Nebraska first joined the Big Ten. We were winning 9-10 games a year. And then we got rid of Bo Pelini, and we just didn't adapt.
Yeah.
As Ohio State, because that was when they were going through that transition from Urban. I'm not sorry, not Urban. Luke Fickell was the interim coach. Who was the coach prior? Tressel. So they're transitioning from Tressel, Luke, and then Urban came in.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan had Brady Hoke, who was struggling. Penn State was coming off of a disastrous situation with Joe Paterno. Nebraska was in the Big Ten title game. Yeah, they got smoked, but they were doing fairly decent. And then when we got rid of Bo Pelini, we brought in the polar opposite of him, which was Mike Riley, who had no idea on toughness or no idea on how to win consistently, let alone in the Big Ten, because he played in a really bad Pac-12. We just haven't adjusted after our initial success. I think we have completely lost our way. Rule is getting us in that direction. It's just going to take time. If you think back to his opening press conference, he said it's going to take time and it will be tough. I think Nebraska just needs to continue to be patient because we can't keep turning and burning coaches every year. We're going to stay at the bottom, lower middle tier of the Big Ten in football, at least.
Do you guys think that Nebraska will win the division? Like, if you're in your thoughts, in your opinion, what do you think? Who do you think will win the division? Will it be Ohio State? Will it be Indiana? Will it be Penn State? Or will it be you guys? I think it's gonna be one of those 4. In my opinion,
this coming year, I mean, for me, it's hard for me to not pick Ohio State, like each and every year, because I feel like they usually are going to reload with the most talent. I think Indiana's got enough, like they just got enough momentum where they're going to have a ton of talent, but it's just like Cignetti brings so much out of those guys that like of course they're going to be up there. But I got to go with Ohio State. I don't know about you, Brian, but we're definitely not going to be up there this year, next year. It might be more so when we get Trey Taylor, potentially Ahmad Hudson, some of these young bucks, these highly, this 2027 class kind of up there. I feel like that's the class that can kind of put us over the edge. I feel like we might be able to middle 9-10 wins with the roster like we have, not with our schedule next year. But, with the talent that we have, if the schedule was a little bit more favorable. But I think more so we're looking more beyond that 2027 year before we're competing for the Big Ten championship, if we are.
Yeah.
I think you guys can compete this year. Like, I get your opinion. I get your thoughts on saying the schedule's a lot harder this year, but it's a lot harder for Indiana, who's now losing their quarterback, for their star quarterback that actually was the reason they got this far in the first place. They're losing that quarterback. They're also losing like half of their players, like Omar Jr., who caught that amazing catch to win against Penn State earlier in the season.
Yeah, they're going to
lose a lot, but they're bringing a lot in.
D'Angelo Pons. I think that's the biggest thing about Cignetti coming in there and winning quickly is he was able to be like, yeah, you want to come play here, and was able.
But did he win? My thing is, did he win too quickly? Because you've seen, like, I don't know if you've seen. Sorry, I didn't come in cut you off there. But you've seen, like, in the NFL how coaches will come in and they'll immediately win. Let's say, for example, Urban Meyer for the Jaguars. That he came in, Doug Peterson for the Jaguars. He came in, he got 13 wins, 10 wins. They beat the Chargers in a comeback victory. And the next season, they were just back to normal. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think.
Go
ahead.
Did Kurtznetty have this? Will Kurtznetty have the same success? Winning too quickly, winning way too fast.
I think for him, for Indiana, he had to win quick because the only way that he was going to get boosters onto his side and be like, hey, you want to donate money to this football program or get players in there that are going to help them long term was they had to win. He couldn't recruit on history, couldn't recruit on because Indiana was not, they had no history. They hadn't, all the money was going to basketball. They don't have the facility, you know. So I think that was a school where he had to come in and win immediately to get the support that he needed to be able to fund what he is ultimately going to build there.
Yeah, he's for real.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be fine. They
Can't
may
stand
lose
the
a game
guy.
or two.
He's an asshole. But
I'm not saying he won't be fine. I hate Indiana too.
yeah, the dude's an asshole. I don't root for
so
him. That's
freaking much just because of how good he was.
But I would be rooting for their
my two
fall
teams are
off.
LSU and UNC, so it's kind of like I hate it. I don't know why I hate Indiana. I just hate them. It's between you guys
that people hate because
it's between you guys and I think Penn State for my two favorite Big Ten teams.
Hey, let's go. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm with you on the Cignetti. The dude's an asshole. I will not root for Indiana ever. I just gotta admit he's a good coach.
He's a very good coach. It's just annoying how much they've won, how hard, how easy they turned that around. Because they were so like every season before Cignetti, they were like last place, second to last place, maybe dead last in the CFB sometimes. Mm-hmm. And now once Cignetti comes in, they turn around. It's just so annoying.
They were the worst, literally the worst. And it's like Nebraska, as Nebraska fans, we feel that pain all too well because we can't turn a damn thing around, and they turned around that quick.
I'm telling you guys, get a better head coach. I like your head coach, but sometimes will like for example, in some of your games, you guys will forget to do stuff. You guys don't need to do
clock management's a disaster. Yeah, we know in-game coaching, game management needs some work for sure.
Outside of rules,
hire a better coach.
You can't go get a new coach right now.
Yeah, the problem is we owe him too much money, and
outside of that.
And I still think he's a good coach. Like, I still think he's going to build this program. I think he's the right guy to build what we need and change the culture. He is a culture guy, and I felt like this locker room was the culture was so lost, and it was such a losing mindset that I do feel like he's done a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that doesn't necessarily translate yet to wins that I think ultimately can. And I think we're starting to see that, in the 2027 recruiting class where we got a top 10 class. Top 5 class,
get even better too.
Yeah, at that. So I think we're seeing, but I just think it's a longer build, kind of like he was saying. I just think it's one of those things where we're in this instant gratification mode, especially when you see schools like Indiana turn around like as quick as they did. Mm-hmm. But look at Husker basketball, for instance. Fred Hoiberg came in, and how many times did people call for Fred Hoiberg to get fired over the last few seasons?
Guys, I'll be the first to admit I was calling for last year when they were just completely out of control, getting beat by an average score of like 25 points on the road. I mean, it seemed like the wheels were falling off last year.
We're like, when are we going to see Fred Hoiberg do what he was supposed to do? And now look at it. It's one of those things where it's like sometimes it doesn't even happen slowly. You don't even see the progress slowly, and all of a sudden a switch flips. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I like this guy, I think we could be in a similar situation with Rule where we don't see the fruits of the labor pay off until that switch flips.
Yeah, 100% agree. But
now I'm going to do like my predictions. Oh, wait, sorry.
You're fine.
You go first.
I was just saying, additionally to, even Rule has a bigger buyout, but he's got Nebraska where we haven't been in a long time. And Nebraska, as a fan base, we have to stop thinking this is the 90s or early 2000s or the Bo Pelini era where we're winning 9-10 games a year. Like, we haven't been good in a long time. Mm-hmm. And we're finally getting back to 7 wins a year. Now the trick is getting from 7 to 8 and then from 8 to 9. If hypothetically, let's say Nebraska goes 6-6 next season, which is entirely possible with that schedule, and you fire a coach who's got you to 3 bowl games in a row, who's taking that job knowing how bad you were for 15 years. The coach you just fired got you
I
back
mean,
to some
I think
relevancy.
Signetti took the Indiana job knowing how bad Indiana was. So I hate to go there with that, but if you're gonna say that, we can go the Signetti route and say he took the Indiana job knowing how bad they were.
But I think
No, but what
the
I'm
thing
saying is
he knew the standards weren't very high in Indiana. And
Yes.
at Nebraska, the standards may not be high, but the pressure is at an all-time high. At Indiana,
unlike
he had
anywhere else in the country.
he had no pressure to go in there and take over a one-win team. He wins 3 wins, cool. They improved. At Nebraska, everybody's expecting competing for the Big Ten championships, bowl games, and all that. And if you don't get that, even if you take over a 2-3 win team, well, we're calling for your head immediately, year one. What's wrong with you? Why are you not, so it's a pressure cooker at Nebraska more so.
The
I get your
microscope at
point. There's a
Nebraska is
difference between
unbelievable.
what Signetti did and how hard it would be for you guys to get coached. My thing is, if you can't get better at the in-game management, what is there to say about your head coach going forward? Like, what happens if you just can't get better at in-game management? Like, can't get better at timeouts, can't get better at doing everything that you guys should be doing normally.
We're hoping he does get better at that. That's
Hire someone to do it.
Yeah, we're hoping that those things improve and he learns from his mistakes. Trust me, we're right there with you on that one.
Even though, like when you're losing, those issues become more prevalent. No one's talking about how Curt Signetti in the national title game had 1 minute and 8 seconds left on the clock with the ball at his 25-yard line and 2 or 3 timeouts, and he just basically ran out the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad time management. But they got the ball to start the second half. They went down and scored. They won the national title. No one's talking about how he was very conservative with over 1 minute on the clock with 2 or 3 timeouts, a chance to go up 17 to 17-3, 17. No, 17. It could have gone 17-0 at half, I think, or 13-0. And instead he just ran the clock out. But no one talks about it because he won. It's the complete opposite at any other school where you're struggling. Nebraska, we're struggling. So when you don't use that timeout, like think back to that Michigan game, the Hail Mary. Everyone's wondering, what the heck are we doing? We don't talk about that now because Dylan Raiola threw a 55-yard bomb for a touchdown.
We're going to do early predictions for Nebraska. My early predictions right now are the football team will go 9 wins. I think you guys have a good quarterback. If you guys can get a good quarterback, you guys can be really good. My opinion.
I like you, Giorgio.
If we go and win 9 games, you will come on the show and we will create the ultimate hype intro for this. I will clip this
straight up.
We'll do something cool.
9 games. You are our best friend.
I think you guys get the right quarterback. It was kind of like Indiana. If Signetti got his guy in Fernando Mendoza, and then they turned it around. I think you guys can get your guy. You guys will win 9 games.
Listen, Giorgio, we like you, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's rough. They just gave us a terrible. Was it November on our schedule?
Yeah, Nebraska might win 1 game in November.
We got
to play 3 games on the road.
Oregon. Wait, who are we going on the road against?
We opened Big Ten play with 2 beatable teams, Michigan State and Maryland. But then we go to Oregon, then come back for Indiana. Then we have a bye week, and then we play at Illinois. I think then we go.
Yes, the schedule is hard. I see the schedule is hard.
At Rutgers versus Ohio State, at Iowa.
Yeah.
At Illinois. What were you gonna say, Georgia? Sorry.
I said I know the schedule is hard. I've seen the schedule. I've seen that it's a lot harder than most Big Ten schedules right now. But I think, like I said, you guys, you got the right quarterback. You get your guys. I think you guys will win 9 games.
I appreciate
that's my opinion on this.
Because and very well you could be right. If they nail kind of like Signetti did, where he went guys who produced, and if he nailed the fit, if they nail the fit on these guys, because year after year we're talking about, oh, we got the talent here, we got this star recruit here, this star recruit here, but it doesn't seem to fit. Now if we all of a sudden come in here and we're not praising an offseason championship, but we got the right guys that fit. Maybe that's exactly what we need to pump out a 9 or 10 win season. You know,
It is the most important thing.
You might be right because again, talking about the fit of why am I drawing a blank on his name? A quarterback, Calandria. Calandria. If he fits and he's a dog, I think that's the type of guy who can come in and win you games and take over a game and win you games by himself. And that's exactly what we need.
My thing is, can you guys get the right quarterback? Is my thing. You guys can get the right quarterback. It's just can you can you guys hit on NIL? Because NIL is a big problem in college ball. It's some quarterbacks are going to go for big money. You've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen. Like with Dylan Mario already, he's gone for the big money in Oregon.
Well, we got
Nebraska was paying him more than what Oregon's paying him, though.
Yeah, we got Calandria from UNLV, and then in 2027 we have Trey Taylor, who's a top 5 quarterback in the class.
5-star.
Yeah, borderline 5-star.
He'll be a 5-star when they re-rank.
So Nebraska.
How are you guys? I would keep Trey. I would make sure Trey Taylor is going to stay.
Oh, he is.
He just moved to Nebraska.
He moved to Nebraska.
He just moved to Nebraska.
Football there.
My other prediction for Nebraska is your guys' football team, not football team, basketball team will only finish with 1 loss. I think guys will not lose in their game.
I like to hear that.
That's actually, I agree. I think 1 to 3 losses.
Illinois was the toughest game we got, and I think after that Michigan game, I think we win that. Especially if you get Frager back, Rank Mass is going to be back. So,
yeah,
I agree. I think we can go 1 loss and make a run in the tournament for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
My other take on this on Nebraska is I think you guys will lead the Big Ten in passing yards this year. I think Calandry is a good quarterback. I think you guys have good wide receivers. I don't think Ohio State will get a better wide receiver. Ohio State has good wide receivers. Don't get me wrong. But I think you guys will lead the Big Ten in passing yards next year. I'm taking a bold prediction there.
I'm with that. I know Calandry is going to run the crap out of the ball. So if we lead the Big Ten in passing yards, we are golden. So I need to write these predictions down, Giorgio, because
it's hard for me to get on board with that one.
Giorgio, if you're right, bro, we owe you this show, dude. You're going to host this show one day if you're right on all this.
I like to host a show one day. I'm trying to be a broadcaster when I'm older.
Let's go. Hey, just stick with it, brother. Don't give up on it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Whatever, if that's your dream, man, go after it.
Another take I'm going to say is you guys' football team will also finish. I'm going to take another prediction here. Your guys' football team will finish with one of those like the big bowl appearances, like the Pop-Tart bowl appearances kind of bowls.
Hey, give me a Pop-Tart bowl, bro. I just want to
take it.
I just want to dance with the Pop-Tart mascot. Yeah, give it. At this point, I'll take that. Cheese it, whatever. One of those bowls.
Whatever 9 wins gets you, Tampa.
Give it to me. Anything but the Pinstripe Bowl again.
I think you guys will make the Pop-Tart bowl. I think the Pop-Tart bowl is the. I think this year you guys will make the Pop-Tart bowl. My bowl prediction: you guys will make the Pop-Tart bowl. I don't know if I can say who, but I think you guys will make it.
I like it. I like it, Giorgio.
Bowl versus let's go with Vandy.
What's the other conference? Is it SEC in the Pop-Tart Bowl?
Yeah. Illinois beat
versus a Diego
Carolina
Pavialis.
Yeah, they just signed that 5-star quarterback though.
Hey, by the way, I saw this on my Facebook. I'm just going to pull this up real quick. I legit thought this was Diego Pavia at first. Tell me it doesn't look like Diego Pavia. I'm scrolling on my Facebook.
To be honest, it does.
It looks just like him, bro. I'm like, who is this kid? All right. I thought that was funny. I just had to bring that up since we were talking about Pavia. You said Vandy?
I think they're going to keep grinding out 8-9
wins. Is SEC your team? Nice. What was Big 12 your team? Big 10 versus Big 12. I could be wrong on that one. Who is Big 10 versus Big 12? I think. Was it? I'm wrong.
I don't think so. I think it's Big 10 SEC. Because Illinois was in it. Was that Illinois in it this year?
Who was in this year?
The Pop-Tart.
Completely wrong on that one.
wasn't BYU in
I'm
it?
pulling it up.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
BYU
you're
was
right.
in it.
Yeah, it was BYU versus
I don't know who they play, but I know BYU is in
I
it.
don't know either. Yeah,
It was
so it's a Big
BYU
12
versus
team.
someone
So
else.
we'll
I know
probably play
BYU
Big.
was in it.
We'll play
That's why I said
BYU
Big
then.
12. I felt like Big 12. I remember BYU being in it.
Oh, they played Georgia Tech.
Oh, well,
Wait, so Big 10's not even in it?
Big
Am I
12.
wrong? I thought Big 10 was in it a couple years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was
Is it
Georgia
like
Tech.
right
Wasn't that
now?
the Illinois
I
South
mean, in it? 'Cause I
Carolina
remember
game?
Big 10 being in it like 2 years ago.
Probably were. Let me see. Hold on, because I got the. So it was Iowa State versus Miami the year before. Kansas State versus NC State. Florida State versus Oklahoma. Clemson, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Miami. So it's ACC Big Ten.
Yep.
ACC Big 10. So I'm going to go
Or
you guys
Big 12.
versus
Big 12. Sorry, Big 12.
ACC. Oh, sorry. So I'm instead of Pop the Rock, I think we're going to make another Big Bowl. Which other Big Bowl is Big 10 really in? I'm thinking of. They're going to
So
make one of those
City Bowl.
big bowls, like the
guaranteed
the
rate,
more like known ones.
Pinstripe Bowl, Guaranteed Rate Bowl,
Music City Bowl,
the whatever bowls in
Tampa. That's the bowl Iowa was in when they beat the crap out of Vandy.
College Football Playoff.
Yeah.
Bowl. I don't know.
Vegas Bowl, which we just got annihilated in.
Yeah, let me see. There's got to be a list.
Holiday Bowl.
Holiday Bowl.
That's a Big 10, Big 12. Or no, that's
What was
Big 10
Washington in? What was Washington in? Hold on. Washington Huskies bowl game. They were in the LA Bowl against Boise
I'm
State.
pulling up Big 10 affiliated bowl games right here. So you got
So I
the
think
Rose
like
Bowls.
the bucked up LA Bowl, like Washington was 9 wins, Boise State was 9 wins. I think that would be kind of somewhere where we can land.
Duke's Mayo Bowl, which is now Game Above Sports Bowl.
Brother,
That's a big one.
Give me the mayonnaise bowl.
That
One
means
last
it's
take
bad.
before I
That
go.
means we went
I'm going to
6
take
and
one
6.
Yeah, what's the last one?
last thing before I go because I'm going to let you guys talk and let me butting in for you guys.
No,
I'm going to come back. I will come back the next week.
Appreciate
So
it.
last thing before I go,
For sure.
I do not think the departure from Billy or from Dylan will mean anything. I think you guys will pass on with Dylan, and nothing will happen. I think there'll be no changes from Dylan to the new quarterback. I think that you guys will not get worse. I think you guys get better.
I agree.
Agreed.
I think it'll be a net positive. Like we talked about, I think what he brings with his legs fits a lot of what I think Dana Holgerson wants to do, and I think it fits a lot of our offensive line had some struggles with Raiola being a pocket passer and holding the ball too long. I think Calandria will be able to just give them a little bit of reprieve there and be able to escape instead of them having to hold their blocks for 3-4 seconds. So, yeah, I think he'll make life a lot easier on our offensive line and the rest of the team. So I'm with you.
Is it every Friday or every Thursday? I know like the other one I was on was every Thursday. Is it every Friday?
Every Friday. Hey, and we appreciate you calling in, man. You had some great questions, so we really, really appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you.
See ya.
All right, brother.
See you later.
And we got Bone Lead popping in here. Good call by Giorgio, by the way. Thank you. Shout out to Giorgio for that. Bone Lead, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not much. And I thought it was a great call too, as well, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
I heard something about like the Big Ten and the SEC were discussing adding teams to the college football playoff. And if I
Yes.
remember right, was it something also about the SEC has to play like a ninth conference game or something to that effect? Maybe I was misunderstanding that.
Big Ten already plays the ninth conference game, right?
Or not the Big Ten, the SEC, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. SEC added a ninth conference game effective next year. SEC wanted to expand the playoff to 16
Oh,
teams.
I don't
which
hear
is stupid.
Brian if he's talking.
Oh, you don't? I hear him. It's weird. Try it again, Brian.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Nope, I can't.
What? This is StreamYard
That's
for you.
Huh.
bizarre.
That's super weird. Try to
Well,
back out and come back in.
maybe you could tell me everything he says as he says it. I mean, that's I don't know.
So try to
I
back
think
out
the
and come
rest
back
of the
in.
stream can hear me, so that would be.
Can Brian hear
Come
me?
Yeah, he can.
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear everything.
Oh.
Not you, Brian. I meant Bonelad. I meant you back out and come back in, but not Brian. Brian came. Brian's the one who left. Hold on. Hold on. Brian, I meant for Bonelad to leave, not you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll leave him and come back in. Come back in. Hello.
Can you hear him?
Testing 1 2.
No. I'll back out. Come back in. Come back in.
Okay.
StreamYard, dude.
That's the first time I think that has happened.
You know
I'm going to
what's
drop the
funny?
link in the chat so Bone can call back in. Just
You know
in
what's
case he
funny?
lost the link there.
Everything was going great. You backed out, came back in, and now I'm echoing. So do it again.
Oh my goodness. Naturally.
Oh man, professional show here, guys. All right, I feel alone here on the left side of the screen, so I'll give them a second to pop back in here. I'm going to jump into some of y'all's comments. All right, we got both of them popping in here at the same time. I'm still echoing. All right, waiting for both.
Still echoing?
Yeah, of course. Go figure. Waiting for Bonelad. All right, go ahead. Bonelad, can you hear him?
Hear who?
Testing 1 2.
Oh yeah, I can hear Brian now.
Go ahead, I'm echoing. So,
Yeah, I'll run through it real quick and then I'll rejoin. So yeah, the SEC is adding a 9th conference game effective in 2026. Then the Big Ten wanted the playoff to expand to 24 teams, which is dumb. And the 16-team playoff was presented by the SEC, which is also dumb because you're going to run into the same problem you ran into this year when you have a team or two that gets left out and everyone throws a huge old fit about it. I think 12 to 14 is your sweet spot. And then in my opinion, just not to get too far off topic here, but I think the first 2, potentially 3 rounds should be played at the highest seeds home stadium. And then you do a rotating semifinal and national championship between the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, is that what it is still? And then the Cotton Bowl. And then, so 2 of those sites host your semifinals and 1 hosts your national title. And the next year, you just rotate it through. So then let's say your Fiesta Bowl is your title game this year. I guess you had the Orange Bowl too. But you put those key bowl games on a rotation over the course of multiple years for the semifinals and the finals. I think it is completely stupid to be having, who do we have? We had Miami traveling to Dallas to play a playoff game, then back to Miami, and then back to where else? I think they traveled back to Texas again for another playoff game. To me, that's stupid. I'll back out real quick. Let Justin get in, have his thoughts without echoing.
Yeah, my dog's barking, so I missed a lot of that, Bonelad. So what do you got next? Sorry, my dog was driving me up a wall.
Oh, you missed what?
I missed what Brian said because my dog was. I was.
I think the question was, with the SEC, I guess now going to 9 games, according to what Ryan said, because, and I guess there's like some agreement or potential agreement with them going to 9 games and then maybe expanding the CFP to 16 games. What is your take on that then, Justin?
First off, Brian, I told him I didn't hear you because I was yelling at my dog. But I think expanding the CFP more is not the answer. But I think the SEC should have been at 9 games. They were fighting that tooth and nail.
Their records are so inflated as a result of playing directional schools in November.
They were fighting that tooth and nail too. So because they knew that. But I don't want to expand the playoff anymore.
Well, no. I don't either. What is your take? And I understand some people think that they deserve to be there, but that's still open for debate. A 9-3 Alabama team making it, but a 10-2 Notre Dame team not making it. Okay. Does a 3-loss team deserve to be in the playoffs with 0 and 1 loss teams?
No. They got beat by 40.
Three lost was 0-1. No.
Miami
and then
or
the
not
argument-
Miami. Alabama was 9-3 when they went into the postseason.
Yeah, they didn't deserve it. And everyone knew that.
No.
You know, and go ahead.
So here's the problem. And I saw someone in the comments say NFL light. It just needs to be like the NFL at this point. Let's break off. The SEC is now the NFC and the Big Ten is essentially the AFC. Break it into divisions, have a divisional playoff, and work it through that way. But the problem here isn't necessarily, in my opinion, isn't the playoff, how many guys can or how many teams can get in, and if it's 12, if it's 24, whatever. The problem is that the playoffs is on ESPN and the Disney network. And who carries all of the broadcast for the ACC and the SEC? Disney.
ESPN. Yep. ESPN.
So it is inherent bias to have the sponsor of these two conferences only allowed to broadcast the playoffs, whereas the Big 12 and the Big 10 are Fox, CBS, and NBC. It needs to be on a rotation. It needs to be like the NFL. Hey, look, we're going to do playoff games. You got Nebraska at home versus Alabama. Nebraska's the home team. The game's on Fox. You've got Georgia at home versus Ohio State. The game's going to be on ESPN. That's fine with me. But then when you have your national title game and everything else is on ESPN, it is inherent bias. That money is primarily going to the SEC school if they make it that far, which currently are not.
And your selection shows on ESPN. The committee.
Yes, everything is geared to the SEC and the ACC.
That's why it's been biased this whole time.
Yeah, interesting. So
what was their record in bowl games this year? 2-8.
Well, and like I remember saying this back when they were these conferences were negotiating for TV rights deals, that I thought that's how it was going to go, where it was going to start rotating like the NFL, and that ultimately is what happened.
Yeah. Interesting. With that bias, could that be part of the reason why we're not getting decent calls? In games, like in football games, and stuff like that.
I think it's more the Big Ten conference bias against us.
Yeah, we're the outsiders. And then we're the ones that pushed against them for COVID playing football. And, who was it that said, we should be thrown out of the Big Ten? Was that Desmond Howard?
Yeah.
Michigan.
He didn't say anything to Ohio State because they were right with Nebraska in lockstep with that lawsuit.
Michigan was the opposing force, and then Ohio State and Nebraska were the two that were kind of in unison.
Yeah, I want to say something. I'm proud of the Big Ten so far. They're the only conference that has won all 3 years of the college football playoffs.
That's right.
The SEC can't say that. And I think I saw something with Feinbaum the other day. He came out and verbally said that the Big Ten was the better conference, and for him to say that, I mean, I almost fell off my chair, but I'll admit, yeah, it's like we need a crime scene investigation here or something, but well, and my next question is about nil. So do you think nil should be set up to the effect, let's say you'll pay a player like $4 million, and then they have what is that called? Performance
incentives.
Performance incentives. Because look at Dylan Raiola, for example. We had to pay him X amount of dollars, whether he performed or he didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if nil's set up that way, but do you think they should set it up that way?
I think ultimately will. I think right now the amount of money that's being thrown around, they're not going to be able to. These universities, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with it, because it's the Wild West where you got players taking money and transferring and taking, you know, so they're going to have to, I think these are things that are just going to constantly evolve to where it's like, no, like you have to play X amount of games to get this money or vice versa. Now, the problem in lies is there's schools that are going to be desperate for players. They're going to be like, no, we'll just pay you, you know, you don't have to win, whatever. And that's where I think it's going to get, that's where the negotiations and everything are going to get really, really messy and interesting.
Part of it too is that would be pay for play, which in technicality, which we don't even know what the rules are anymore, is prohibited in college football. That's why you do. And so I want to make sure too, to clarify, NIL or nil is separate from rev share. So Nebraska gets 22-ish million from their TV and conference deals to break out between all their sports. Football gets about 18 million. Then Nebraska has a deal with PlayFi where they get 10 million that goes primarily to football. And then you have NIL, which is your donor money that's coming in to pay players. In theory, right? You have a Runza commercial or you have the Jeff Sims Amigos deal. That's the NIL aspect of where those players get paid. That does not come from your rev share dollars. For example, Trey Taylor, Tay Ellis moving to Nebraska. The reason why Nebraska has a state law that allows high school prospects to make NIL, name, image, and likeness money, as opposed to rev share. The reason why they can probably afford to make this big of a move, at having just made it myself, is because they had front-loaded rev share money when they committed last year. That money was already pre-allocated for the 2025 season to Trey Taylor and his family, essentially, to allow them to be able to make this move. So they're very different things. The pay for play part, then you're talking about a CBA, and then you're getting really messy with it, which is the direction it needs to go. We just need to be NFL light, like Redwine said in the comments. It just have contracts, uphold to the contracts. All right, you can't have, what's the Duke quarterback? Mensah,
yeah.
Signs a deal with Duke, goes into the portal, gets sued by the school. He sues back. He gets released of his contract. The school doesn't recoup the money that they paid him already. They probably gave him $4 million, probably $500,000 of that is upfront signing contract. They don't get that money back. Miami doesn't have to pay the payout. The Clemson player, that Dabo Swinney, called out Ole Miss's head coach with comments from text messages verbatim. Clemson's not getting the buyout money from that contract. Hold these players accountable. They're part of the problem. The system is broken, yes, but when you signed a contract and then you leave, they should recoup that plus 50%, because you're screwing over an institution because you're chasing money. $2 million. You're never, ever going to make that much money if you're not in the NFL, more than likely. So I get it's a lot of money, but you have to have consequences for it too. Sorry, I kind of went on a little bit tired there, but
No, you're good.
college football right now.
You're good. I agree with that too. But now my next thing here is, I already know the answer to this, but I want your guys' opinions on it. A running quarterback does what to a defense that only a pocket quarterback cannot do?
Wait, a running quarterback does what to a defense that a pocket quarterback cannot do?
Correct.
I think the biggest thing is he makes everybody be that much
part
more
of the play.
responsible to their assignment.
Correct. He makes everyone a part of the play. Correct.
Yes. Yeah, that's
I
the
was
biggest
just
thing
gonna
is
say,
everybody has to be assigned, their assignment has to be, because if one player is out of position, that play can break at any moment, whether it be with his legs, whether it be with his arm, and the legs can make it the opportunity open up. Yeah. So it really stresses the defense and makes sure everybody is assigned and aligned.
Yep. I was going to say, it just makes you accountable for him. It's 11 on 11 at that point. You can't, like with Dylan, you can leave a guy in zone, or you can leave a linebacker in man, because you don't have to assign anybody to Dylan because you weren't scared he was going to run. And when he did, it didn't hurt you too bad.
And defensive line wise, you have to be a little bit more smart about your containment and how you pressure the quarterback.
All right. And now I'm going to switch to basketball a little bit. To me, it seemed like, there should have been way more fouls called against Michigan. However, I will say this. I am proud of the guys. We don't have, what do I want to say, too deep at every position. I think we're only 8 or 9 players total on the team. And to have our two of our main starters, Rink Mask and Frager, out and still almost beat Michigan at Michigan tells me we have a heck of a team. Now, had those two played, Michigan wouldn't have won. Okay. And that's my take on that.
No, we're with you. Yeah. And actually our national championship odds went up from, was our national championship or a Big Ten championship odds went up from plus 700 to plus 500 after that loss.
Our Final Four, Nebraska is now
Four.
plus 550 on FanDuel, or actually plus 2,500 to win the national championship, which we were plus 6,000, I believe, prior to the game. So and then if you look at the advanced analytics, Nebraska went up in every single statistical category, like the NET and all that stuff, by losing, which is bizarre.
Well, I want to say this, I've always noticed every year, like in the March Madness, at some point, 1 or 2 or maybe more of the high seeded seeds tend to lose, and someone makes it, farther in there. Are we going to be, one of the ones that makes it, farther than what we think we're going to make it, because something like that's going to happen to like maybe a Michigan or an Arizona or a Duke or something to that effect?
I think this team can go as long as, like, if this team stays healthy, I think they can go as far as they want to. But I do think with us, there's going to be a little anxiety round one just because we've never done it, So we're going to be anticipating, like, crap. What we're just so used to it going wrong round one.
I think Nebraska can make a run. The problem I foresee with Nebraska is their depth.
Yep.
That's what I was say. I'm glad. Like before that Michigan game happened, I said it's not the biggest game of the season. It's the biggest game of our program's history, but it's not the biggest game of the season. And the reason, part of that was it doesn't define anything about our season at the end of the day, win or lose. I mean, winning certainly is nice, but you got good high-level reps for Leo Curtis. I think you finally know what you have with Garcia, which is unfortunately just not a very good basketball player. So it maybe gets more experience for Leo Curtis as the season unwinds, because you need more help, because Oogie is not going to play this year at this point. I have zero expectation for him to play. So your depth in the post is really Rank Mast, Berke, Buchton, Gel, and that's it. On top of that, you have Frager, Hoiberg, Kale, Jamarcus, Price. That's your guys at guard. That spot is good depth-wise, but you're not deep in the post. And that, let's say Berke gets 3 fouls and a half. All right, now you're going to play small again. You're going to play Caleb Jacobson at the 4, which turned out to be halfway decent, but I worry about how that affects you in March when you just don't have a lot of depth. And you're on short rest every single game. You're 2 days rest. That's it. That's where I think Nebraska could get hurt.
Yeah, we got to be healthy for sure.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go, gentlemen. We're kind of long on the show. Thanks for taking my call tonight.
Of course.
And no matter what the sport is, if it pertains to Nebraska, it all comes down to go big red.
That's right. Go big red. Appreciate you calling in, brother.
You bet.
All right, man.
Thank you, Bone Led.
Some good calls today, man.
Absolutely.
Great show for calls. So, all right. Was there anything else you want to touch on before we're going to wrap this baby up?
I mean, I'll just run down who's visiting this weekend.
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
while we still have, decent amount of people
Yeah.
watching. So I'm not going to do a breakdown. I'll do a video on that. But for basketball, Nebraska has 4-star top 200 power forward Matthias Alasanko coming in for a visit. He is like a Bear K Buchton gel clone in the sense of 6'8", 245, good power forward, more of a post forward. Much different than the other power forward they have coming in. I'll get to him in a second, but Matthias is considered the top international or one of the top international basketball prospects for collegiate basketball. This should be exciting for everybody. Dawson Batty is coming in for a visit, a 5-star, 8th overall ranked recruit in the entire 2027 recruiting class for basketball, is visiting Nebraska. And we have, I think we're for sure getting Matthias. We have a very good chance to get Dawson Batty, and that's to pair with Nebraska's already pretty darn loaded 2027 recruiting class for basketball. They already signed Ethan Rice, who's averaging over 30 points and like 10 rebounds and like 9 assists per game. They already have 4-star Jacob Lehner committed, another shooting guard, combo guard, 6'5", averaging, dang near triple-double. If Nebraska can pull these two guys to go with Lehner and to go with Rice, you would have 4 guys that are all 4 or 5-star commits in the 2027 Nebraska basketball recruiting class. Would be absolutely insane. For football, you have your headliners, 5-star safety commit Torrey Pittman's coming in, 4-star QB commit Trey Taylor, 4-star wide receiver commit Tay Ellis, 4-star running back commit Amir Brown, 3-star offensive tackle commit Matt Erickson's coming in. Couple names to get familiar with: 4-star wide receiver Keyshawn Bowman. He's a 6th ranked wide receiver in the entire country. He's 7-on-7 teammates with Trey Taylor. You also have a 4-star top 100 overall Baron Marshall, big bodied receiver, 6'3", 180, KC connection, Jamar Mosey connection there. On the offensive line, you have 4-star offensive lineman from Ashland Greenwood, Barrett Cottrell. That'll be a recruitment that moves very quickly, I think. You have 4-star top 100 overall interior offensive lineman Kyler Kuhn. Again, expect that the recruitment to move pretty quick. KC connection, Jamar Mosey connection. You've got another 4-star top 250 offensive lineman Timi Aliu. Previous connections with Teasley and Jeep Wade visiting. You have 3-star defensive end Xavion Meads. You have 4-star top 200 overall safety Shamash Stanford. Nebraska's been recruiting him forever. He's a big-time pickup, or could be a big-time pickup. Then you have to clear it all off. You have 3-star nose guard Waylon Wooten, similar to 2026 recruit Dylan Berrymon. He's 6'1", 315, a true nose tackle, 0 tech, 1 tech for Nebraska. So that's pretty much it. And then Nebraska is very likely getting a top 200 cornerback. He committed from Florida State. He's got Oregon, Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee. I'm drawing a blank on the rest. What's his name?
Bryce Williams.
Bryce Williams. Big corner, 6'2", 180. This class is going to be freaking loaded. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I am too. I'm fired up. Yeah, Nebraska getting a crystal ball and Bryce Williams, I believe, earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yep,
huge potential pickup there, as we really need to bolster this defensive back room. Yeah, I don't think it's as strong as people think, but it's getting there. For sure.
Yeah, they actually cut 12 defensive backs. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 36 on the roster last year. They had 22, or actually 20. So they cut 16.
You need competition in that room more than any. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate that update, Brian. Because holy cow,
that was long-winded. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, you're good. What a list of names, though. So, all right. Anything else, Brian?
That is it.
Y'all stay tuned though, because Brian's going to be putting out a video, breaking those guys a little bit more down in detail. So, yeah, y'all stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for all the latest and greatest in Husker football, Husker basketball, and recruiting. Y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Drop a like if you haven't. Shout out to all of our callers. Was it Giorgio, Mike, Bone Lead? Appreciate y'all calling in. Thank y'all so much, man. Great questions, great calls, And y'all check in at Tuesday. We'll be here live at 6 p.m. Central for the Husker live show. And we'll be able to kind of update y'all on everything. And hopefully we got some recruitment news. And when does Nebraska play again, basketball-wise?
Sunday.
Is it Rutgers next?
Oh, after Illinois?
Who's before Illinois? Is it Illinois next?
Yeah, Illinois is on Sunday.
Then Rutgers. Yeah. Okay, cool. I had them backwards. I had them flip-flopped. So, all right. So we'll be able to talk about a little bit more Husker basketball there. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We will see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Gentlemen, what are we up to tonight?
Did Brian accidentally ban
Yeah, I
you?
think you might have accidentally banned me, and that's really messed up, right?
Are you running from the cops right now?